Hi guys, do you want to test your skills in a real money tournament without any investment? Here's your chance now. We are running an exclusive tournament with $1,000 prize pool. The tournament will last no more than 3 hours, the field will be really small, and the winner will get at least $150 on top of it. Nobody will leave the game empty-handed. To join the party, just hit the link in the description and sign up. And today we'll be going over the latest Sunday Million on PokerStars from the 11th of August. We have some really nice plays here, and I want to share my insights on those hands, also show you some work with programs, if the plays were good or not, and also, yeah, give you a little replay on everything that happened so you can have a nice little analyzing of every hand that happened for your studies. Before I start, make sure to follow our YouTube channel. Follow us also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you can find us. We're updating a lot of things, and you shouldn't miss out on that. But now let's head into the final table. First of all, I'll just show you a little graph about the players we're having. I could not find two of those, but as you see, most of the players doing pretty fine here. As you see, pretty regular. The only one that's probably not that big of a regular, but as you see, he's playing really high tournaments. He has almost $100 average buy-in. And as you see, he's doing pretty fine in that area. So I think it was a pretty good final table here. There might only be a few fun players around, for example, like Estotuli, who's maybe, I mean, he's playing just a lot, and for that he's not a lot uh, in the minus. So as you see, I think all of them pretty regular players, and therefore I think it's gonna be a packed final table. So yeah, let's just jump right in. And of course, how could I forget that? Let me show you the payouts really quickly. As you see, it starts with 9K for the ninth place and up to $120,000 for first for a $109 tournament. So really, really nice. And yeah, I'll be showing you the most interesting hands here. So yeah, let's just start. And we already have a pretty nice hand here. As you see Roger Trader with the Ace King. The ZQ has pocket tens, and the small blind is happy to see that action in front of him because he has aces here in the small blind. So I think the best play is probably like cold four betting looks really, really strong. Flatting would still look strong. It could maybe in this case, of course, I mean, at that time he didn't know the hands, so it's hard for him. But flatting could maybe induce Rod Trader to 5-bet ship it in here because most of the times like flatting there is probably like tens or jacks a lot of times, maybe nines or so. In this case, Benfica, he just decides to ship it in, and now the thing for both of those players is they're in the mid stacks. So as you see, Jeffrey and Sergio are only having less than 20, both having less than 20 big blinds. So it's a big ICM spot, as you just saw. It's a 9K for first, and yeah, the pay jumps are really huge. And yeah, as said, the range of the small blind is really capped here to at least queens plus. So therefore, Rodfredy makes the right call. Even though it could be queens, of course, it's really good to not take that flip. ICM wise wouldn't be good, and of course, also the ZQ should be folding here. Let's see if he does it. We can maybe have a small look at the IC miser for that spot, just to show you what both of them should be calling in that space. So as I said, we'll just putting it into the IC miser. I already put in all the numbers, and yeah, let's have a short look. So we start first as the UTG +1 position here, just so you see the opening range pretty wide. I would actually narrow it down by a little bit because I don't think he would open all of these hands. Oh, I guess probably not all of the offsuited aces as well. So maybe something like this is fine. Maybe it's even a bit too wide, but still. So we see here, and then we see the three bet, which is, as you see, already really, really narrow. But funny enough, because small blind is at that moment a big stack, he's first. I think he was first place here, 25 million. Yeah, so he was first. As you see, that's according to Nash Equilibrium. That is his cold four betting range, which is really nice to see, as you see, because he can just put so much pressure on the opponents. And therefore, as you see, even though he should shove here from fives on, even though the three betting range is already so narrow, he could four bet this much, and still the others would need to fold so much. And yeah, so I mean, in this case, I'm pretty sure he would not go for this, even though he might be a good player. I'm pretty sure he would not. He would act. I'm pretty sure he would just maybe even like, yeah, maybe like this. Probably maybe not even ace queen suited, but let's keep it in here for now. And then we see in the ace king position, and as you see, even kings would be a fold here. Only aces would be a profitable shove. And if we now put ourselves here as the three better, same we see here. In this case, even at least the kings would be a profitable call, but everything else, you see the tens are by a far margin negative call here, minus EV call. So yeah, nice play by them. And yeah, I think for all of you also really interesting to see how far or how wide the small blind should be pushing here according to Nash Equilibrium, just because he can just put so much pressure on. But yeah, let's see again how this worked out. So he's gone for the three bet, and yeah, I think we already went there. So they both folded, really nice folds here. And yeah, let's just get into the next hand again. So Rod Trader doesn't hold back here, and again he's up versus will probably be up versus the ZQ, and not so sure about that flat actually. Maybe he's hoping in this case that one of the two big stacks here, even one of the three bigger stacks, Ivan Douglasu already folded, but that one of those is getting some action. But yeah, I'd prefer a three bet here. Actually, just because it's just so much money on the line to be rather straightforward when it comes to those premium hands, at least at the early stage of the final table. Just because, yeah, in this position, he's just giving us such a good price to a lot of hands. But anyway, this flop, of course, is really good for him now. Uh, Everyone has something here. He's, yeah, of course, going for the bet here now. I would maybe three-way actually like it this to size it up a little bit, more going towards half pot than a third of the pot. But yeah, we would probably, as I just was gonna say, probably both C2 calls here. Of course, World Trader will definitely not go anywhere with his top pair. However, raising into two people when already one bet and call was there would not be a good idea. So I think just calling here is the best idea, and then seeing a turn to refigure. And yeah, here the turn now is that's the bad news for the ZQ. As I said, like three betting pre-flop would have got rid of ace 10 here for sure. So yeah, but now also good to check here. There could be at least one of them could be having a 10 here, or it should probably be as Totoli mostly that might be calling there with like king 10, jack 10, ace 10 and stuff. So Rod Trader shouldn't have too many tens in his range from UTG. And he makes a really good call, a really good fold here, by the way, into the second bet here on the turn. Yeah, his king queen in this case will only be a bluff catcher. Of course, there could maybe some floating on the flop, maybe like king jack of diamonds or something like that, or jack nine of diamonds, for example. That could be a pre-flop call and also a call on the flop. Uh, so as I said, it's just a bluff catcher, and even the flush came in on the river, so that would probably be a good card for that queue to find a fold here on the river, just because a lot of things just came in. We don't know about, of course, the history, and he even checks back. Okay, I think he could have put a little bet in there. But anyway, yeah, this passive line from ZQ loses him almost, yeah, is a chip pot that was more than half of his stack. But yeah, that's just what's gonna happen. Now we have also, as I said, we were gonna skip, but there were some interesting hands at the beginning already. So we're having some nice little blind on blind play here. I'd prefer in that case from Jeffrey to just ship it all in, even though he's 8th out of 9 currently and Sergio has 2 big blinds less than him. Uh, it's already blind versus blind, so Rod Trader will not have too many good hands most of the time. Of course, he could be unlucky and run into a good hand, but still, I'd prefer to just ship it in. He has only 15 big blinds roughly, so don't really like that play. Of course, Rod Trader is going to call. King 9 is in a good hand, in position to keep on playing. But Jeffrey now, with a really good flop on his side, he should definitely continue betting here. Sizing is okay. We'll probably go for a bit less, probably just like 500k or so. He should definitely continue on the turn now, and yeah, probably commit himself. Rod Trader said he defends the big blind. He has 3 times the chips, so he could be calling pretty wide. And yeah, the only thing that now came in was is Queen Jack. Of course, he could have some 2 pair combos now, like King 10, King 5 maybe. If he has an ace on himself, I'm pretty sure he would just 3-bet pre-flop, so we can probably put that out of his range. But now Jeffrey goes for the check, and that will be just a pretty nice invitation for Rod Trader. And he uses a sneaky small sizing of roughly 1/6 of the pot here. And yeah, let's see what 1, 2, 3 Jeffrey does here. But actually, he shouldn't do anything else than calling here. If he goes all in, he will probably only get called by a better hand, so that doesn't make sense. And by calling, he can leave Rod Trader. He can give Rod Trader the chance to still bluff on the river. So yeah, he should just be calling and then see a river. There should be a lot of safe rivers and only like probably like Queen Jack, Queen and Jack, and some diamonds that would not be that good. But uh, yeah, again, it's blind versus blind. Rod Trader's range is pretty wide, so I think he should be even. There's not really a lot of scary cards, and as we see, it would only be a king or a 9 in the end. So, but don't know why he's tanking it now. So long it's actually. Wow. Okay. Really don't like that fold. Somebody is probably really money scared here. But as we see, Rod Trader's line helped him to just get top pair to fold here in a blind versus blind situation with less than, was it 15 big blinds as the effective stack? Okay. Wow. But yeah, well played. We will just skip to the next hand. We go to, yeah, this nice little hand here. I think some really high level play here. Uh, Tutuli is second in chips right now, so he's can allow himself to open a bit wider here with ace-6 suited from UTG +1 in this case. And Rod Trader, as we've seen, was pretty aggressive and picks up a nice spot here, as because he knows that Totoli can probably open pretty wide. So he's going for 3-bet. The hand is okay. I think King 7 is a nice hand for that because he's blocking a lot of king combinations from the opponent. But Tutuli doesn't take, or he does smell that foul play there and decides to go for the 4-bet. Really nice play here. Actually, also the sizing pretty nice. He can easily fold if there's the 5-bet jam, but it still looks like a bit of inducing to even get uh, the button here to 5-bet jam. So nice play, really like that, and yeah, we skip to the next hand pretty quickly. And yeah, so that's the first action now from Ivan. Um, Standard opening here from the cutoff. He gets 3-bet from the small blind and just decides to call. So now let's first have a look. He's calling and leaving himself less than the pot behind, so I don't really like that. I don't really like the 3-bet from the eights there in the small blind, to be honest, because he leaves himself also just pot behind. I do think if we get back, this would just be, especially because the big blind is such a big stack, so he probably like, or he should not. He can, if he's unlucky, of course, he could wake up with aces there in the big blind, but normally it should be fine. Uh, so either I would fold because of ICM or just 3-bet here, but just shove it here because it's only 23 big blinds, so I think that would be the best play here. But however, as we see 3-bets and he also calls really fast, and again he leaves himself less than a pot behind. And yeah, pretty weird line now here as we see the bet of 1/4 after checking the flop and the check shove from the eight. Uh, Interesting play, really. But it will probably be the right play in this case because it gets Ivan to fold. And yeah, now he's last in chips, or almost or even with Sergio there, who's in the big blind now, and will probably get shoved on here just because any two will be a call here. Will be a shove here. And at least now because Ivan is even stacked with him, he even decides to give it up. Okay. But yeah, now we jump into the next interesting one. And yeah, after that, yeah, pretty costly mistake from Ivan. He decides to still open with 8 big blinds here with Queen Jack offsuit. Again, I would just ship it in and yeah, runs into the Ace Jack of Benfica, who has an easy reshove here. The Ace Jack holds up and we lose Ivan in ninth place for $9,000. And we just jump into the next interesting hand here. And you probably know what is going to happen. We see this time Jeffrey now with only 9 big blinds, he decides to make the shove. And before we see the decision, let's have a look into the ICMizer if Rod Trader should call or not. So again, I just put all the numbers in, and yeah, just for visual purpose, let's see. I already calculated the Nash equilibrium, and as we see, the small blind should be shoving really, really wide here. I'll be adjusting that a little bit, even though he's down to 5 big blinds. As we see, he did not go for that shove when he had 14 big blinds. So I do think he will not shove that wide actually. So let's at least put this out of here. Yeah, maybe something. Okay, probably not those, and maybe even not those. So more or less something like this, I think, would be okay. So as we see, instead of 65%, it's only 39% now. And let's have a look. And with that range, Queen Jack O should be a fold. It's rather close, but it should be a fold. We can have at least one more look to see what should be like if we go via Nash equilibrium, we see that Queen Jack O is a call. So just depends on what we think that the small blind is willing to shove here. But again, as I said, I do believe he's going for a rather tight approach. Again, it seemed like he was a bit money scared. So yeah, as we see, we're going with like 35, 36% what we just had, and then we see that Queen Jack O should be a fold. So in this case, it just depends on whether Rod Trader think that Jeffrey is gonna shove according to Nash equilibrium or not. So we now have the decision. Also, the thing is that Rod Trader, if he loses that one, it's for more than half a stack, and he will be the shortest stack at the table. So a pretty huge decision, but we see it's a close one. So just again depends on what he thinks that Jeffrey will be shoving here. In this case, we know that he's shoving ace six offsuit. So if he calls, he will be behind, but he still is going to have 40% equity. And yeah, while he is waiting, let me again tell you about our awesome YouTube channel. To make sure, subscribe our YouTube channel. Also, if you follow the link in the description, you can join our training site where you will have more of those videos, also more theoretical videos and training videos from me or from one of our other coaches to improve your game and yeah, make yourself a winning player and make it more and more professional. So yeah, perfect. As I just ended, we see the call. There is the queen. He needs an ace, queen now, but it doesn't come. So as we see, it wasn't the best call. It was a close one, but not, it was a negative EV call according to my adjusted range at least. But yeah, anyway, we lose another player in eighth place. GG for that, and more than $12,000. And the action doesn't stop. We just see the next one, Sergio, short stack with 11 and a half big blinds, easy call from Tutuli. There's the queen. There, somebody has been running pretty well here so far. Queen, and we just lose the next player pretty quickly. So yeah, GG and seventh place for roughly $17,000. We jump just in the next hand, and as we see, Tutuli is having quite a big chip lead. Only Benfica is at least close to him. But yeah, as we see, then he opens Queen 8 offsuit, goes for the rather loose approach here in this case. And yeah, Pyla, he flops third pair. Good, I think pretty standard call on the flop. And yeah, on the turn, Tutulias that can put a lot of pressure on him. And actually it's a pretty good card for him because probably on every or with every flush draw, Pyla would have just check shoved here. So I think that he can continue here pretty often. And again, also every nine would have been probably just a shove here, and even most of the sixes, I think. So probably Tutuli will go for it here. It's a weird spot because Paella only has half of the pot behind, and he only decided to call. So either Tutuli thinks exactly about what he's having, like some kind of three, and yeah, that's probably what he's thinking. Nice bet here for the Paella's tournament live. He's just beating nothing but a stone cold bluff here. And yeah, let's see if he can pull the trigger and go for the call. It would put him in a nice spot here, would be at 13 million again, so already in third place if he makes the call here. But yeah, it's a really hard one to do. On the other side again, if he folds now, he's down to I think it should be six big blinds or seven big blinds. So yeah, not sure. I think he should have just shoved the flop or latest the turn. Then if he thinks he's ahead on the turn, then just go for it. So yeah, not sure about that play. Nice but still pretty nice from Totuli here to go for three streets to sniff out that there's something wrong. And we already see the next hand. Yeah, and now at least Paya gets a pretty nice hand here, but unfortunately he will run into the queens. I'm 100% certain that there will be not a fold. Yeah, and we see the reshove. There's even a jack on the flop, so maybe no. That's it for Paya. Again, not sure. I think the hand before just costs him the chance to get any further there. Down to six big blinds, really hard. He at least found ace jack suited, which is a pretty nice hand, but yeah, again, that's it for him. But still, sixth place for, as we see, $24,000. So yeah, could be worse. Could be worse for him. Yeah, we now just see a nice little hand here from Benfica versus Tutuli. He just flopped the straight, the third nuts, pretty nice, and probably wants Tutuli to bet somehow. There will not be a bet. Yeah, now it's hard from him to get any value. Let's see if he goes for a small bet. Yeah, I don't think that Tutuli will be calling here. Yeah, there's the fold. And yeah, we jump actually into the next hand because that one is a bit more interesting. We see a call flat, just a limp from Benfica here, so therefore Rod Trader decides to complete in the small blind as well, and we see a pretty interesting. Everybody just got something. The ZQ will probably not be in this hand pretty long though. And yeah, Benfica flops top pair, Rod Trader with two pair on that wet board. If there's a bet, and there is a bet, it will probably just get in here on the flop from Rod Trader. Let's see if Benfica will make the call. Uh, yeah, not sure. The thing is here, of course, Rod Trader can have a lot of flush draws here. Also, if he has some 10, it's probably not going to be ace 10 because that would have been raised. Uh, so if it's only top pair, he will be in front. And again, if there's, yeah, with a flush draw, so maybe like some kind ace X with a flush draw, I do think that he would shove all of that as well. But again, it could also be like 8-6 and Jack 8, for example. And yeah, and also exactly what he's having 10-7, maybe 10-9 sometimes or so. Uh, and yeah, like the 10-8 as well, of course. So there are some hands where, like, Ortrader will probably at least always have a hand where he's drawing pretty well here. And in this case, even he has him beat. But let's see if Benfica makes the call here. It's also 10, pretty huge stack, and he makes the call. Ooh, miracle 9 there on the turn to counterfeit the two pairs, and we lose another player in fifth place for more than $33,000. Rough one on that side for sure. And yeah, we are going to continue just a few hands later. We see the ZQ here with a small raise to Tuli. Probably will 3-bet shoving here. It's a nice hand. He has some blockers, and there's still the ICM pressure versus Voldemar. And there's a call. Pretty nice spot for ZQ. Oh, yeah, as we said, somebody has been running really good here. He hits 2 out of his 3 nines left. And we just lose another player in fourth place for $45,000. Nice payouts. And everyone now is even guaranteed already $63,000. Pretty nice, pretty nice. And yeah, as I said, we're three-handed now. There's been some deal discussion, and there hasn't been a deal made yet, but there were already some discussions. So for now, we'll be going here into a nice little three-way hand. I got a limped, no, got a small, I got a min raise from Voldemar here, and both blinds get along. And let's see, he will probably not continue here because he just, I mean, he has some backdoor draws, but still doesn't make a lot of sense. So now, yeah, check again. That's a really interesting card. So Tutuli picks up the double gut shot. Voldemar has a gut shot and a flush draw, and Benfica picks up second pair. And after it got checked three ways, maybe he will get along here as well with the second pair. Tutuli now decides to bet, which is pretty okay, I think. Double gut shot has quite some equity here, three ways, and it got checked twice from Benfica already, and Voldemar checked behind as well. So yeah, what a turn card. Wow, pretty nasty now. I mean, it's good for Benfica, or actually also sick for him to have that river because he was in front here actually. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that we'll probably just go all in here between Totoli and Voldemar. So let's see if Totoli decides to just bet like pot size, or if he wants to go for a small bet and tries to get some value out of maybe some Jack 10 or something like that that could have been called here, or some river Jack maybe, or maybe even Voldemar had some slow played queen here. He decides to go for, yeah, more than 17% here. Yeah, and Voldemar has an easy reshove. Totuli's not gonna fold for just 2.5 million chips more, and Voldemar is gonna get a pretty nice double up here. And just after that, we already had the deal, so Voldemar got himself this nice little double up to make sure he gets way more way more money on that deal. And yeah, there are still 20k to play for. And now we're gonna have some more three-way action. Just as a little spoiler, this three-way or this tournament was still gonna go for at least 1.5 hours now. Wow, we see a 50 big blind three-bet jam here from Voldemar. Maybe somebody did. Wow, and Benfica just calls it for 50 big blinds. Maybe somebody did not notice that there was still 20k to play for. Really loose call here from Benfica for 50 big blinds. But yeah, just like that, we're in heads up. And just to be sure, we can have a small look at what Benfica should have been called here. So, as we see, we got the open raise here from King Queen offsuit, and the big blind with 52 big blinds decides to 3-bet jam. We see our opening range, yeah, pretty wide, as we see 51%, three ways, pretty standard. I don't think I have to change anything here. Looks pretty nice to me. And we see the pushing range here, which as we just talked about, 50 big blinds. So I just don't expect it to be that wide. I mean, if we really did not have in mind that it was still 20k to play for, maybe it's wider. But in general, I'd say if he really goes for the 50 big blind 3-bet shove here, that he will not do that this wide. So maybe like this, but probably that is even too wide. But yeah, anyway, let's calculate. And funny enough, we do see that King Queen offsuit is not even that big of a mistake. It's a mistake, and in the long run, he will lose a lot of money on that. But I thought it would have been way bigger. So as you see, like tens plus would be positive. Even ace queen off would not be a good call. But yeah, anyway, we see the call here. Really curious if they did not know that there was still something to play for. I'm pretty sure it's mentioned a lot of times. But yeah, anyway, we already lose the next player, and as I said, it's just been an hour for now. there's still quite a lot to play for. So let's just jump into the next hand. And yeah, there were some nice hands here between Benfica and Tutuli. Benfica took the really, really aggressive approach in the heads up, which I really, really like. He did some really nice plays, and for example, this is one of them. We see him here. The continuation bet from Tutuli, pretty standard with top pair. Nice or good flop for him. Not completely nice, but pretty good still. And we now see the check raise here actually. And I really like the check raise. He has a lot of backdoor. He has the gut shot. He has a lot of backdoor draws, and of course, Tutuli could be c betting so much here. So I would not expect him to have an ace all the time. If he maybe he will have some jack or ten now, or a lot of times he will have a jack or a ten, and even then he would bet call here versus a raise just because the board is really draw heavy. Now I'm not so sure about Benfica's check here. If he goes for the check raise on the flop, I think he should uh, continue because all of his mate hands, if he has something like King Queen or Jack 10 or something like that, maybe also even 8 9, he would continue now. So yeah, not so sure about that check then. Yeah, that bet also is really really small. I would have made it bigger for sure. But yeah, now Benfica just gets an awesome prize. He was almost a fifth pot. So Benfica just needs his seven to be good every sixth time, which will definitely be the case. And now he bings a really, really nice river because none of the other draws came in now. So it's really hard for Tutsuli now to put him on a 7, I think. Of course, it would be, yeah, probably like King 7 and Queen 7. And wow, I'm pretty good fold though. Pretty, it's not an easy fold from, I'd say, just because a lot of draws didn't come in. And yeah, we would need to put him on a 7. Um, or would be yeah, like 8 9, but then again, I don't think he would go for the check on the turn then. But yeah, anyway, nice pot here. Good play from Tutuli. Also, nice showing of the aggression of Benfica. And we just jump into the next hand where we see an all in. There was an open raise from ace 10 and king 9 just 3-bet chipped here for roughly 25 big blinds. And we see king 9 is doubling up here. So Tutuli is almost back in the game. It's only roughly a 2-to-1 chip disadvantage on Tutuli's side now. And yeah, as I said, I'm gonna show some interesting hands here. So we now see the open race from Benfica and just the flat from King Queen offsuit. Now Benfica, yeah, he riffed that flop completely, but he decides to go for this c-bet. On that boards, I actually like to go a bit bigger here just because you don't get a lot of information from Tutuli, in my opinion, if you just go for that really, really small c-bet. Now on the turn, he needs to continue for sure. If Tutuli has a flush, he maybe will raise it here, or he might have raised the flop to be honest. So he can probably put him on some pair hand, maybe with a weak flush draw as well. So and also Benfica at least picked up a pair. Yeah, now after check calling twice, let's see if Benfica, as I said, he's been really aggressive throughout the heads up. See if he can pull the trigger here, go for a third bet, and he does it really nice. It's not easy for Tutuli to call here. He doesn't have any spade, so at least if he had like a small spade, it would make it maybe a bit easier. But here, it's just a guessing game. If he thinks that Benfica is able to go for three streets here without the flush, I mean, he could even just have a 6 or maybe have 7 8 to hit a straight or so. So it's not there. There could be some non-spade combos where he still is behind now with the top pair. So nice play from Benfica. Nice pressure here, and we continue. And yeah, just here another nice hand. Benfica flops the gut shot after the pre-flop raise from Tutuli. He of course goes for the c-bet again, and we just see another check raise. Like this, I really like this aggressive kind of play. He also has the eight of clubs for some backdoor flush draw, and therefore the 10 is a really nice hand to continue for him now. He picks up a pair, he picks up the flush draw. He still has his gut shot to go with. And for example, even if Totoli exactly what he's having as by the way, like top pair, it's really hard for him to continue because a lot of things just came in. Would be just even harder with the jack. So I think Benfica should definitely continue here. Also, I like the sizing a lot. He's also putting up for a potential river shove because then Tutuli would be left with just a bit more than pot. So yeah, really hard for Tutuli. If he makes the call now, there will not be a lot of rivers he likes. So if he decides to call the turn now, or actually like the important decision is now on the turn, and yeah, he decides to give it up. So again, awesome or really nice play from Benfica's side. Again, as I already said a few times, I really like that style of play. And as we see now, he made Tutuli fold top pair already 2 times or even 3 times. So pretty nice plays here. And yeah, so as we see, it was just a bit continuing. I skipped a little bit forward to another pretty interesting hand now here, where we just again gonna see some nice aggression play from Benfica here. After checking behind here, as you see, he's been continuing quite a lot with only like something that he hit on the board. So yeah, Benfica now decides to go for it. On the turn, he picks up a gut shot here with a 6. He also has still one overcard to the board. And yeah, if he checks, because Tutuli checks behind here, he can probably just get it a lot of times here on the turn. Now that makes it pretty easy for him. He gets his gut shot here. It's also pretty disguised, but I don't think he will get any more value here of Tutuli. Uh, there's a lot of sixes and sevens in Benfica's range that he would bet on the turn. Also some threes, which also rivered the straight. So therefore, I don't think that Tutuli should be calling here, just because all of those combos improved by a lot, and he's not beating them anymore with his ace high. And yeah, we just jump into another nice hand here between them. Also, was that Benfica was, yeah, he was pretty good in hitting in specific spots in the last hands here. And yeah, we just see pretty big cooler actually. As Tutuli flops top pair again after limping pre-flop. And yeah, he cannot give up here. There's a lot of potential draws out there, and therefore he should be calling here. Also, the turn, it doesn't change a lot for him. Benfica improves to a full house, so he's really comfortable and is probably gonna fire now 2 more streets. He even checks the turn. I'm not sure. Again, that's the same thing as with the king seven there. I would prefer to barrel the turn as well. In this case, especially because he has it, just because there's still so many draws out there where he could maybe even get a raise on the turn if he decides to go for it. But yeah, in this case, he even gets the small bet in, and he maybe goes for the check raise now here. Yeah, he does. So kind of lucky that Tutuli decides to go for it here. Not sure if he would have done the same on the king with the king seven earlier, if Tutuli decided to not check back there. But yeah, Tutuli, it's hard for him again. Of course, it could be a four in there, but still, there's just so many flush draws out there. Maybe even some, yeah, like six, like 4-3 or 4-7 in spades or something like that, or just a straight draw, some gut shots. So okay, I'm not sure about that small. I mean, of course he's gonna get the call now here, but I think he could have gone for a bit more. After calling twice, he can probably put Tutuli on a lot of aces there, so I think bigger sizing on the river would have also got a call. But anyway, another nice pot here for him. And yeah, we jump, I think, into really one of the, it's probably the best play of the tournament here, I think. So we see Tutuli is down to his last 13 big blinds. He limps here on the flop, pre-flop, and decides to go for a small bet on the flop now. Benfica again flops a gut shot here, so again decides to raise here. In this case, not so sure. Like Tutuli will have so many aces here if he limps that short, and also Tutuli on his side should know that Benfica's probably not gonna have an ace, because with an ace he would have definitely just shoved pre-flop if he limps to him. So yeah, he at least decides to go for one bet, to go for one call on the flop. And yeah, let's see. Benfica picks up now an open ender and just decides to put Tutuli all in. And yeah, now the thinking is for Tutuli, if he does not have an ace, is he again just on some kind of a draw? I mean, there's a lot of draws out there: 10-8, 8-6, 6-5, maybe even 10-6 or 8-5, and so on. So there's a lot of potential draws where he could be in front. And if he has a 9 or 7, that he at least has some outs. Yeah, why am I talking so much about this? You will just see in a few seconds, because Tutuli actually makes the call with queen high, and he's right, and doubles up to 33 million, which is almost 30 big blinds. So an amazing, amazing call here by just queen high. He read Benfica perfectly in this occasion. And yeah, then he just moved back into the tournament. And yeah, we have a few spots left now that were interesting. As you see, Benfica grinded him down quite a lot, and yeah, that's just a flop where it's gonna go in, I'm pretty sure. Benfica with top pair and the gut shot, Tutuli with middle pair and the open ender. So wouldn't be surprised if it just goes for the check shove. He just goes for the small raise, but then again, Tutuli will probably now just rip it in. Yeah, and we will see the call by Benfica, I'm sure. So this could be the end, but no, Tutuli hits one of his outs. He actually had 9 outs to hit, so pretty nice for him. He stays alive, and yeah, closing the gap more and more. And yeah, now we go into there was some back and forth, but it was the Benfica. He limps. Oh, it was probably like the first time he limps, and yeah, this is probably gonna be uh, yeah, the awesome trap here with the aces, but Turtuli just decides to make a flush with King 4 here. And as we see now, just like that, they are even playing for the 20k. So 6-sig cooler here for Benfica. Or not a cooler, it was just a suck out, pretty big suck out on Tutuli's side. And yeah, now just like that, as said, they are even. Yeah, and now the tables were shifting towards Tutuli, and now we see the probably last hand in this case. So Benfica decides to open shove for 21 big blinds here, runs into the ace king of Tutuli. There are some outs, but this time Tutuli is not able, or Benfica is not able to suck out. So we have a winner. It is S. Tutuli. He wins the Sunday Million. And let's have a look at the final payouts as we see. Tutuli, after making the three-way deal for almost even money, Tutuli chips it in the end, gets the 20k extra, and wins this week Sunday Million for $107,000. GG to that. And yeah, thanks for watching the video. I hope you like the analysis and everything from the Sunday Million here. My name is Marcus, and we'll see us in another video just in the next days on our YouTube channel. So make sure to follow us, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell as well to not miss out on anything. And yeah, we'll see each other again. So see you soon.